Welcome everybody to this month's third Thursday. We have a very special seminar today covering our brand new Ruby 2.0 launch today. And with me, joining me from Trotec Studios in Austria, we have Alexander Schikowski, our product manager in software, exhaust, and strategic marketing, and Harald Holzner, our product manager of strategic marketing. Thank you so much both for joining me today. Alex, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hello, of course. Thank you, David. Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everybody. My name is Alex Schikowski. I'm product manager here at Trotec in Austria, responsible for our new amazing laser software, Ruby. And together with you, I'm very excited to having this session today, having this introduction today, and very looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you, Alex. Harald, a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. Welcome from my side as well. Yes, my name is Harald Holzner. I'm the product manager for the Speedy line. So I'm responsible from Speedy 100 up to the large one, Speedy 400. You see it here as well. So I'm looking forward to this very interesting webinar and for your questions.
Great. Thank you so much both for joining me. This is definitely an exciting event. This is day one of our brand new Ruby software. It's coming out of beta. And today we're going to actually go through and show you how to use the software, show you tips and tricks of the basics of the software, and then also answer any of your questions. Please feel free to ask any questions within the chat. And at the end of the course, myself with Alex and Harald will answer all of your questions as they come in order. So don't feel free to answer any questions that you may have on that. And with that, let's go ahead and go to my screen and let's walk through what this seminar is, what it can do for you, how it works. So today is the Speedy, is the Ruby 2 launch, including the Speedy 400 run on Ruby. This is a very, very exciting software. It's going to really help a lot of folks out there with productivity and improvements to their existing Speedy line system. If you're not familiar with any of my seminars, in my seminars, I used QR codes. If you're not familiar with how to use a QR code, all you need to do is turn on your camera app on your mobile device, point that camera at the QR code, but don't take a photo, and a link will show up on the screen. Select that link to get quick and easy access to web links, files, and videos throughout the seminar. Trotec USA is a very social company. If you want to keep up with current events, trainings, products, applications, laser materials, please scan the QR code and subscribe to your favorite social media platform. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Twitter. So today's outline, we're going to cover a little about basically Ruby and all there is to know about Ruby within this software. What it is, we're going to give you a basic walkthrough of kind of how it works, and then I'm going to go in depth into the four main screens within Ruby: the Manage, Design, Prepare, and Produce screen. I'm also going to show you how to use Ruby with remote access. Anywhere in your remote network on an Office network, you can actually run it, including with a Macintosh now with this version of the software. Then we're going to do some getting started on how to get your version of Ruby and get it started on your system. A little bit on how to get some feedback and help with the new software. And then Howard's going to introduce our brand new Speedy 400 run on the Ruby software. We'll go a little bit into what's going to be happening in the future of Ruby, and then the three of us will join you all and answer all of your questions at the end of the course with some Q&A. So now I'm going to switch over to Alex, and Alex is going to kind of explain a little bit, since he's kind of spearheaded this software, of kind of what Ruby is and what it's going to do for you.
For having us in this session, for giving us the opportunity to take part in it. It's really a pleasure having this chance today. And well, before we actually go into it, I would really like to thank all of our customers that are already using Ruby and are contributing a lot to actually make it a better product. Yeah, we actually initiated a kind of closed beta last year in April, and many customers have actually joined already back then. And then last year in October, we started our open beta program. And even though it was a kind of beta program, many customers actually jumped already on Ruby. And really, I mean, we are reading it in the comments. Many of you changed to it as the main production tool for your daily work, for your daily business. And we've really been overwhelmed by the feedback we got. People love it. Many people got more productive. Their life got easier with it. We will see today. We're having really a seamless workflow now. There's no hassle with printer drivers or so anymore. So really, laser users are profiting a lot from it. And I think, well, Trotec has always been known for this kind of close partnership with our customers. And I think Ruby is actually bringing this now to the next level by really partnering up even more and developing this product, developing Ruby together with you. By getting all the feedback that has been incorporated today. And for all of you who have already been a Ruby user, you will actually see this today. A lot of what was coming in is now in the product. And we are really excited for this launch now, and really being Ruby out of beta and being our main laser software now. So why Ruby is actually there? And well, the journey of Ruby actually started already quite a long time ago. It was many years ago. It was about the time when we actually introduced Job Control 10, when we have seen that the industry, the way how people are working with the laser has changed a lot. And it has actually since then been changing rapidly. Yeah? So also the demand on us as a laser manufacturer has increased a lot. And we've been thinking about, okay, what do our customers need in their daily work? How has their kind of work has been changing? Yeah? And well, many of our customers have also grown enormously in the last years and have multiplied their business, their orders, and therefore also the number of lasers people has increased. So people actually want to use multiple machines at the same time and still have kind of an eye on them and have an overview on them. Yeah, but also the way how actually the machines have been operated has changed. Yeah. 10 years ago, Windows was really the most dominant operating system to run the laser machine, but this has changed now as well. More and more Macs are coming into our daily work, so the demand for independency of operating systems has increased. But also the way how people get from their ideas to the product has changed now. And people actually, users want really one software, one program for the entire process. So from the idea to the finished product to actually manage, design, prepare, and produce their laser jobs. But also the digitalization has found its way into the laser business. And the laser should not be just an isolated single machine anymore. It should actually be incorporated in a bigger overall process and function as an intelligent part of something more. And the most common thing here is definitely integration with e-commerce systems. Yeah? So using a web shop and firing the laser directly from the web shop. That's a huge demand nowadays as well. And well, there's much more actually to it. And the good news is Ruby stands for all this now. And we will see a lot about Ruby and how Ruby works and what Ruby stands for today in this session. But Ruby is not just a laser software. Ruby is really a platform. And the overall goal is to connect laser users and to connect lasers in their daily work. And we want to provide laser users with all the tools they need for their daily business. And this will really offer new value to you that has never been seen before. And we believe that together, our customers and Trotec, we will actually redefine the way how lasers work and setting new standards with this. And without any further ado, I would like to hand over now back to David and have a short overview and a short walkthrough about the product, what it is like, what it is about. And then at the end of the session, as David mentioned, we will also have an outlook on what is coming next.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex. That is great. Let's now move forward here and really showcase exactly what Ruby is and how Ruby works by giving you just an overview of some of the highlights of a Ruby walkthrough. Ruby has redefined laser software to make your daily work with laser run seamlessly. Here is an example walkthrough. First, open Ruby, then select the prepare screen, then select a file from a split screen or a second computer monitor. Drag that laser-ready file onto the prepared screen. Drag the file to the cursor that is also the red dot pointer on the laser system. Select the material parameter, push to the laser, and press start. It is that simple. No more slow Windows print spoolers or printer drivers. A laser-ready file can be loaded and running on your laser in seconds. Trotec machines are the fastest in the industry, and with the new Ruby software, the time waiting for files to load and transfer to the laser is a thing of the past. I will now show the process of taking a design from the commonly used CorelDRAW into Ruby to the finished product. Open up or design a file to be laser processed in CorelDRAW. When finished, select the file and then select the PDF button. And then save that PDF into the Ruby transfer folder. Open Ruby and select the file from the Manage screen. And then open into the Design screen. Additional editing can be done in this screen if desired, but since the file is ready to process, select Create Job to move the file to the Prepare screen. Focus and position the materials in the laser. Adjust the file to the red dot pointer. Then select the material to be processed by dragging or typing the name of that material. Push the file to the laser. The Produce screen will now show the files that are in the queue. Then press the Start button and run that file. The laser will then run the file, producing the final product. Ruby has been developed to provide a seamless workflow from idea to final product. Ruby is organized into 4 main work screens: a management screen to organize and manage the files, a design screen to make adjustments to those files, a prepare screen for the completed files ready for processing to work with the laser, and finally a produce screen for the files in the queue ready for the laser to be processed. First, we will cover the manage screen. The management screen is the starting phase. Here you get an overview of your current designs, jobs, and connected lasers. This screen is a list of design elements and files that can be used as is, or you can use them to create new files within the Ruby software. You can bring these files into the management screen by importing them with the import button, or using the import folder, or even dragging and dropping them. To start, open Ruby into the management screen. To bring the files into the screen, select the import button in Ruby. Then select the folder with the desired files to import. Select Open, and the selected file will then show in the management screen. For drag and drop, From a split screen or another monitor, just select any compatible file format and drag them either one at a time or by selecting all supported files at once and dragging them into this management screen. Current vector formats supported include PDF, SVG, and Adobe Illustrator or AI format. Non-vector formats supported include JPEG, JPEG, BMP, bitmap, or PNG formats. Access the Ruby import folder by simply right-clicking onto the taskbar with the Ruby icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, then selecting Open Import Folder. Once open, we suggest dragging this folder to the desktop to create a shortcut for future ease of access. Any compatible file that is saved or dragged into this folder will then show in your Ruby managed screen. Next will be the design screen. The design screen has the purpose of creating your files for the laser job. This screen can edit or modify any of the files from the management screen or start files from scratch within Ruby with no need for any design software. The design screen can add shapes, line, edit, change, add text, adjust the size, delete components. It includes features like union, intersect, difference and exclusion to weld, add, and remove sections of a drawing, or even power clip photos into graphics into shapes. A pro tip, any one of these design screens, you can select the question mark on the keyboard to see a list of shortcuts available for each one of the screens. Now let's create a simple nameplate from scratch using the design screen. Open up the design screen and select the rectangle tool in this case. Then click and drag out a rectangle. Adjust the size of the rectangle on the right side of the screen by typing in the desired dimensions. Select the desired color, in this case red cut line. Then select the text tool, clicking onto the field to then type the desired text. Select the selection tool to manually adjust the size of the text to fit within the box in this case. Then select the color black to engrave the text. Turn on snapping and then drag and snap the text to the center of the box. Finally, select Fit to Page to remove any excess dead space around the file. Now select Create Job and move the design to the Prepare screen, ready to be laser processed. In this example, let's modify an imported Adobe Illustrator file. To start, select the file that was imported into the management screen shown on the left side. Now we can edit this file by deleting some of the elements, in this case just by clicking and deleting unwanted parts. This can also be accomplished by zooming in using the mouse scroll wheel and selecting this eye icon. This will show only the parts in the file that is seen on the screen in the Layers selection, allowing for what is visible on the screen to then be deleted. Now that we have the element that we want, let's add a circle by choosing the ellipse tool at the top and dragging that ellipse tool while holding the control on the keyboard to maintain the aspect ratio. Now snap the owl, in this case, to the center of the circle and change the color of the circle to a red cut line. Select the text tool, add some text, adjust the size, change the color to black, then place it into the circle. You can also change the font if desired at this location. Select each of the elements and snap them to the center part using the snapping tool. Now select all the elements and scale to size manually or by typing in the desired dimensions. Fit the page to the design, and then create the job. In this final example, let's take this PDF image and make a quick adjustment in the Ruby design screen. To start, let's select the ellipse tool. Then draw a small circle and position it at the top of the outer circle, snapping it to the top center. Then select the two circle layers and select the Union button shown here. This button will effectively weld the two elements together. Now select the ellipse tool again, and let's draw a small circle inside to create a cut hole, converting this file into a hanging ornament. Once finished, fit to the design again, and then create the job again to send to the prepare screen. Next, we're going to go through the third screen called the prepare screen. The layout of the prepare screen is very similar to the job control software with many added benefits. The prepare screen is there to finalize your jobs for operation and then push it to the laser. Multiple settings can be adjusted in this screen, such as the material or processing rules. The prepare screen also has additional editing capabilities such as scaling or sizing, determining where the file will be processed on the laser field, as well as selecting material parameters. Within the prepare screen, the cursor can be selected and dragged to the location you want the file. This can also be accomplished with the arrow keys on board the laser system, showing the laser orientation with the red dot pointer. Once the laser head has been selected, the file can be snapped to the crosshairs on the screen that matches the location of the laser head or material. The file can then snap to the center, bottom right, top left, bottom left, center right, as needed. Once positioned, the design can be copied by selecting Ctrl+C to copy, or Ctrl+C, and then Ctrl+V to paste, or Ctrl+V, as many times as required to fill up the page or material. Selecting Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V with multiple items selected will copy and paste all items selected. The desired material parameters can then be searched for and set, and even adjusted if needed, over on the right side of the prepare screen. They can be searched for or selected. You can actually go in and select the individual color and identify what parameters or adjustments are needed. And the file can then be pushed to the laser for final processing. Within the prepare screen, it is also possible to select files and make adjustments. In this case, I will open up the Trotec logo and add a cut line around it. Size the rectangle and snap it inside the rectangle. Position the newly edited file to the red dot pointer. And always remember that the question mark can be selected in any one of these screens to show the shortcuts of each of the screens. Use Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V to copy and paste a row of this file. Then select the material parameter and edit each color if needed. Now, because we have overlapping cut lines, the prepare screen has a tool that will ignore any straight line overlap so that the laser will not cut the overlap more than once. Push the file to the laser and process, producing multiple engraved parts with no overlapping cut lines. Operating the rotary with Ruby opens up many new possibilities that have previously not been possible. To start, place the product into the rotary and then focus placing the red dot pointer at the start location of the desired graphic. Then open Ruby. Choose the desired graphic from the Manage screen. If no adjustments are needed, create the job and take it into the Prepare screen. Turn on the rotary by selecting it at the top of the toolbar. In this case, we're going to rotate the graphic 90 degrees and then position it at the red dot pointer. You will then notice a shadow of the graphic will simulate how the graphic will revolve around the cup in this case. Measure the diameter and place the diameter into the rotary field. This graphic can be scaled and adjusted as desired within this screen. Select the 3D button to see a 3D simulation of the finished product. You can click and drag this 3D simulation around to make sure that the file looks correct before laser processing. Select the material parameter and then push it to the laser. The laser will now process this file as seen on the screen, no matter how the file is wrapped around, well beyond 360 degrees until the image is fully engraved. Lastly, we have the Produce screen. In the Produce screen, you have an overview of all the jobs currently queuing in your laser. You see details about the job the laser is working on and can manage the queue. This screen will allow you to select and start files, arrange files in the queue, see process time as files run. It is also possible to drag jobs directly from the management screen for faster production operation. Send files to the laser from the Prepare screen by selecting Push File to Laser, or by selecting Queue. This will add the file to the queue so that it is in line to run. Files can be deleted, and the files can be started from this location, or by selecting the Start button on the laser. There is also an option to remove completed jobs from the queue after they are completed or not. The file process time is also located here. Jobs that have been saved from the Prepare screen and located in the Management screen can also be directly dragged into the job queue for faster processing. This is ideal for running production files. However, this order can be changed as needed, and files can also be deleted as needed. So basically, the Produce screen is just an order of the files that are lined up in the queue for the laser to be processed. What order you put them in will determine the order that they run on the laser system. Now I'm going to walk through how to set up Ruby Remote Access. Ruby Remote Access will give access to the laser to anyone on a local network running from any operating system. It is now possible to access a laser system using Ruby from any computer on a wired or wireless network. To do this, open Ruby on the computer running the laser connected to the same network. Select the 3 horizontal lines in the upper left-hand side of the Ruby screen. Select User Management, Add User, and then type in the desired user email address. And then choose OK. An email is then sent to this email address. Access that email for the Ruby download link and the Ruby access link. Here are QR codes on the simple installation process you can scan for questions on installing the software depending on the operating system chose. Once installed on the remote computer, open it on that device for remote access to that laser system. In this example, Ruby is running on a Mac computer with the Mac operating system. Once installed and set up, all the Ruby features, screens, and abilities are available to manage, design, prepare, and produce any project. Create a job, position for the material by moving the red dot pointer at the remote laser. The cursor on the screen of the remote computer will match that location of the laser system. select a material, and print to the laser remotely. For safety reasons, if a file is sent remotely, the file will need to be started on board the laser system or from the computer directly connected to that laser. As the files run, the computer, being completely wireless in this case, will show the file being processed, showcasing that any computer on the network with running any operating system can operate the laser system remotely, no matter where that computer is in that network. When that file is complete, open up the laser for the final product. Now let's walk through how to get started with Ruby. Scan this QR code to download and start using Ruby today. Currently, Ruby will work on all Speedy laser machines as well as the SP500 laser machine. If you need help with Ruby beyond this seminar, we have you covered. Ruby has its own help website called rubyhelp.com. This site will continue to evolve and grow as Ruby grows. You can scan this QR code to go to rubyhelp.com for information on how to use Ruby and any one of the elements within the software. To access help directly from Ruby, select those same 3 lines in the upper left-hand corner, and then choose the knowledge base for quick access to rubyhelp.com within the Ruby software. You can type in your questions, or you can select any of the quick access links within rubyhelp.com. Now we're going to cover the new Speedy 400 run directly on Ruby. We have taken Ruby, the most intelligent laser software, and the fastest laser engraver, the Speedy 400, and combined them together as one. Here to introduce this new machine in the Trotec studios in Austria is our product manager of engraving and strategic marketing, Harald Holzner.
Thank you, David. You heard a lot about Ruby, the new incredible laser software, which is available for the whole Speedy family line since 2004. I think that's an incredible feat of Trotec engineering for your benefit. For me personally, the best thing is definitely also the Speedy 400, the new one run on Ruby, where Ruby is already built in, so you don't need an extra PC, no hassle with software installation. Just connect this machine to the network and start your browser on your Office PC or Mac or any Android, iOS device with network communication, and you're ready to go. For those of you who don't know the Speedy 400 is the top model of the Speedy family, of Trotec Speedy family. It's the fastest engraver on the market with real 4.3 meters per second, which is equal 170 inches per second. It's available in 2 models. One is the CO2 model, the other one is the Flex model. Flex means you can have a CO2 operation, and a fiber application means cutting and engraving in one seamless application with 2 different laser sources. Incredible stuff. The available laser sources are for CO2 60 to 120 watt, fiber 20, 30, and 50 watt for maximum flexibility. Another point is definitely, which is benefiting you, is the OptiMotion. It's enhanced path planning for for cutting and vector engraving, selectable from the highest precision to the maximum throughput, up times faster. Another point is, I think, is the incredible look inside the machine and the ergonomic access to the laser bed. The laser bed itself is 1016 by 610 millimeters, equal 40 by 24 inches in diameter. When you have a machine like this with this incredible performance, you produce a lot of smoke and dust during the operation. And for this, we have protected all the sensible areas to the highest standard. Another point is important for your application. There is the built-in air assist. as well as an optional available gasket. There's a long list of accessories, including 9 lenses, 6 tables, and so on. Combining all these advantages now with the new touch panel, 7-inch touch panel, you can do all this standalone operation. You sit on your desktop, PC, Mac, as we already mentioned, prepare your job, send it to the machine, you select the job on the display and start the process. That's possible because of this new network communication via Ethernet or optional Wi-Fi. So I think it's time you ask your local Trotec contact for a package which fits for your requirements. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Howard. That was outstanding. Now we're going to go ahead and just let's bring both of Howard and Alex back on here, and let's cover a little bit about the future of Ruby here. So, Alex, if you want to cover a little bit, since you've kind of been the lead on Ruby here, let's have you cover a little bit about what Ruby has now, as well as Ruby, what's coming with Ruby.
Yeah. Well, thank you, David. I think this is also something that has actually changed in the past a lot. This kind of roadmap and outlook on Ruby and on the future outlook is actually also on our website available. So on the Ruby product page, you can also find this roadmap, and it will continuously always be updated as well. So we really want to keep it transparent and actually then also update it with your feedback, with the feedback we get from our customers, to update this kind of roadmap and to really have it transparent for everybody to see what we are working on and what we are looking at. Yeah. So we have already seen all the functionalities that are in Ruby now since today available. And there's, of course, much more coming also later this year. So with Ruby, beside the functionalities we have seen now, there is also, of course, the vision for print and cut supported by it, but also the remote connectivity we have seen. And later on this year, we will also include then with an update the functionality of pre-calculating the job time. So you will always see how long the job will actually take in Ruby, and also stamp functionalities will also be updated later this year. Then what's on the plan for next year? Yeah. So we definitely are going to further extend the possibility of file import. So we have seen it now. We can now directly import Illustrator files, and we will definitely also further extend that functionality in the future, but also more and more complex graphical design functionalities will be included. We will have and we are looking at the functionality of serialization, so kind of mail merge we would like to have in there. That was a very much requested feature already the last years. Much more, as Harald mentioned, Ruby is now available for the entire Speedy series since 2004. This, of course, will be further extended, so Ruby will also work with the SP series. We are actually also having a look at supporting our Galvo systems, the speed marker series with Ruby. But then, of course, especially when looking at the SP series, more and enhanced cut functionalities, cut features need to be included. So really optimizing cut jobs before the lasers actually processing them. And when having a look at the Galvo series, more enhanced automation features will be needed. And as I mentioned already at the beginning, definitely connecting things like an e-commerce shop via the Ruby API is also something we would like to offer to laser users. And there's also much more for the future we would like to discover, we would like to develop with you. So this can be found in the later stage, in the later phase. Some more ideas for the future. really optimizing jobs before processing for the best material utilization to really minimize the waste. And of course, then also using really all Trotec Laser machines with Ruby. That's our clear goal. More cloud functionalities we would like to have. So really being able, not just via the network, as we have seen by you, David, now, being able to access your machines anytime via the network you're in, but really also having this functionality, for instance, to prepare your jobs, your designs, for instance, from home, and send them to the laser and then just select and start them from the laser machine. Also, we have seen the need for more enhanced analysis functionalities. So we see the need to have kind of overview about production data to really make your business more efficient, more productive. So we would like to provide there some things as well. And as I mentioned in the beginning as well, really having this community idea, having this community functionality with Ruby to be able to connect not just laser machines, but really all laser users directly in Ruby, and together to grow as a huge, large laser family. And last but not least, we would like to increase even more the productivity by also include functionalities and ideas like predictive maintenance to really maximize the on time of the laser machine.
All right,
well,
perfect.
David, I have seen already there are plenty of questions coming in the chat. So I think we should actually have a look at them now, yeah?
Yes, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go ahead and now take everyone's questions. We'll go ahead and post the questions in the order that they came in, and we'll do our best to go ahead and answer those questions for you. All right, let's get going here. Is the new Ruby 2 available on the Ruby beta software as an update? When we now click and check for new software, nothing happens. Alex, probably a good question for you.
Yeah, well, it could actually be due to some Windows restrictions that this automatic notification has not always been showing up. That's also why we actually improved some things in the major version now. But we have seen the QR code before, the link to directly download Ruby from the webpage. So just go there, download it from there, and just install it, and it will then be updated to Ruby 2.
Perfect. Okay, next question. Does the release of Ruby include camera support? Probably another good one for Alex here.
Well, I think I mentioned that before. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So vision for print and cut is included. And of course, also there have been improvements made. And I'm really proud actually to say that we have a really robust solution there now that will even recognize reg marks now under weak conditions. So that's now included also with Ruby 2, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Will the Q series be supported with Ruby in the near future? Another good question for probably either Howard or Alex.
Do you want?
Yeah. Yes. The Q series will also be supported by Ruby. Near future, it's a long definition. It's defined that it will come, but no fixed date yet. Yeah,
we don't have an ETA on that yet.
No.
Yeah, exactly. But as I mentioned on the roadmap, really our clear plan, our clear vision and goal for Ruby is to support all Trotec Laser machines with it, to really have it as a platform.
Correct.
Yeah.
Does the hot folder manage window now refresh when files are taken out of the folder? That's a good question, probably for Alex.
Well, yeah, I'm happy to pick it up. So if I understand correctly, I think you mean, Timothy, that when you actually remove files from the home folder on your Windows on the folder directory. So this is really just a one-way import, so it's not kind of a mirror what we have in Ruby. So when you remove them from the hot folder, they will still be in Ruby. But it's definitely an interesting topic, interesting functionality. We might have a look at then, yeah.
Yeah, from my experience, once they're put into that folder and engaged into Ruby, even if you remove them from that folder, they're still in Ruby. The way you have to get rid of them, if you don't want them in Ruby, is by selecting them in your manage screen and deleting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could the manage map folder also be on a different PC that runs on Ruby? I don't see the pick only on the PC that runs on the Laser. And you are definitely correct. It is only on the actual PC that is connected to the Laser itself. And in my experience, the remote PCs don't have actual access to that folder. So the hot folder or transfer folder will only be located on a computer that is directly linked to your computer or to your Laser system.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. I mean, the actual folder is located on the PC, but of course you could use this folder as a network folder, and then you would be able to access it from other PCs then as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Just share the folder onto your network, and then you would have access to drop it in from other locations. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that.
It's even possible to have this hot folder on your network area storage on your NAS and share it with all the PC on this central location.
Oh, great idea. Make it like your Google Drive or something like that. So
local network.
Oh, local network. Okay.
Local network area storage, yeah.
Context. I have not received our 400 yet, so this entire process is new to us. Question: where are the parameters set for each line in the image? Example, in the design software, the design color code and the color you're in. Probably one for you, Alex.
Well, I think David actually. There has been a little conversation on this topic in the chat and later on. Already, it was already mentioned and explained that exactly. Thanks, JB. That via the pancake, the hamburger menu, you can get to the material database where you actually make all those adjustments, the settings. Exactly.
Yeah, and we didn't really cover that. We didn't want to overwhelm you folks that are just getting started in that. There is going to be future webinars that are going to include more advanced features such as how to set up your own parameters and materials, and an in-depth dive into the camera registration, as well as some of the other more in-depth features. But like you said, just as the launch here today, we wanted to give everyone just a highlight of some of the neat features and new features so that you get a taste of it, especially for you folks that haven't used it yet.
Yes, John, and by the way, congratulations for your decision.
Yeah, great. Will multiple different cuts settings be supported within a single design of different colors? Right now, one cut setting and one engrave setting can be designed. Yes, Ian, definitely you can set up as many of the Trotec colors for different operations as you like. The same 16 colors that you're comfortable using on existing job control software can be used with the Ruby software. This is a little bit more advanced into the material set. From my experience, you do need to we're going to actually have some future videos that will explain exactly how to do this. But yes, you can do multiple cut settings, multiple color settings, up to the 16 different colors that you're familiar with using job control currently.
Maybe, David, maybe one thing to add here for the audience, because you mentioned the colors, and we haven't seen that in the walkthrough. But I think it's definitely worth to mention because it's really something that helps a lot. Is that this, and for those who've been running job control, you know that until now all the colors always had to be RGB color mode, color code, and with Ruby we actually do not need that strict assignment anymore. We can actually even import designs with CMYK colors, and Ruby will still detect them and you will be able actually to work on them and to process them. And even more, not just the color code, also the line thickness is now more or less irrelevant. You can do all of those adjustments directly in Ruby and just decide whether you want to have it as a cut or an engrave process.
You're absolutely right. I was surprised and happy to see I was able to design files right from Microsoft Word using the basic drawing tools, not caring what the color and the thickness was, and just saving it as a PDF, and it immediately imported into Ruby, and I was able to cut and engrave the file from a Word document. So all those issues of the past of dealing with colors and line thickness, or softwares that had to specify those colors and line thicknesses, are a thing in the past when using Ruby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Am I correct in thinking the new software will not allow cutting of double or multiple lines? That is a great question. So if you have like a line over the top of another line, in the past, running from like your drawing program, we've had the ability to do like 3 lines on top of each other, and then the laser would cut 3 passes of that line from the drawing rather than identifying the color as 3 passes. Is that something that's still possible, Alex? It's not something I've come across in my experience yet.
Yeah, no, of course, it's still possible. I mean, per default, it's actually off skipping overlapping cut lines. Some actually might know this feature, especially in the printing industry. It's commonly called common line cutting. So per default, it's off. So if you would not activate it, double lines would be cut twice. But if you activate it, you actually can really move your design files as close as possible together and really save a lot of material, but not just material, also reduce, of course, your processing time a lot because you're not doing it twice and just once.
So actually it'll do both. That's great. So just by turning on the small feature that I showed doing the small Trotec logo where we're able to ignore overlapping lines, by not selecting that mode, it will still overlap the lines if the file is created that way from, say, your drawing program, for example. And that's what you're saying, Alex?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay, next question. Can you continue to use Job Control 11 after you've installed Ruby? How long will Job Control be supported? Alex, probably a good one for you because I've heard several different things.
Yeah, well, that's definitely one of the most frequently asked questions. Of course, everybody can still continue working with Job Control, so Job Control is still fully functional. And we will also still support Job Control. But we really, as I mentioned in the beginning, our main laser software will be Ruby in the future. And we have seen all the functionality today, and we have seen the roadmap, what else is coming. So really, Ruby is our new technology base for the future that will enable us doing all of those things. So really, the big improvements will come on that. But of course, everybody who is running Job Control and who wants and who is preferring actually to stay with Job Control can still use Job Control. It's everything functional and running.
By the way, a new version is coming out today as well. So
of Job Control?
Yes.
And you will, and the other part of the question is that they will be able to run them simultaneously still, right? Correct?
Exactly, yeah. You can have both of them on your PC installed.
So as you're getting comfortable using Ruby, for you out there that want to start trying it, go ahead and leave Job Control on there and then start that transition without having to completely switch gears.
Yes. Can be a smooth.
Yeah. When will the stamp and seal functions be available in Ruby? From what Alex said earlier, it was be around December is what you're saying, Alex?
Exactly. So the next update, the next big update for Ruby is scheduled for December, where we are definitely also hiding for the stamp functionality.
And so if you are a manufacturer of stamp and seal, for example, you would probably want to stick with Job Control until the Ruby update in December.
Yep.
Also curious if we will be a measurement tool in the design screen where we can add squares that is precisely 4.4 inches, for example. Great idea. Alex, your thoughts?
Well, you can actually, I mean, I think we haven't seen that in the walkthrough today, but you can, via the options dialog, you can always enter precise dimensions for an object directly in Ruby, so that is already available there. So I'm really curious to get your feedback when you actually tried that. And well, if you have further ideas on this topic, there's also the functionality to actually hand in the feedback directly in Ruby. So there is this feedback tool. So anything that comes up your mind, anything you think that would help you in your daily work, we are happy to receive that. And as I mentioned in the beginning, we are really developing and evolving Ruby together with you. So everything, every contribution actually helps us.
Yeah, that's something I didn't actually show in the showcase is if you hit the 3 little horizontal lines in the top left-hand corner, there is a button that says feedback. So if you have a feature that you think that might benefit you, or a question or something has come across that you're unsure of, go ahead and click the feedback button and fill out the small little form right within Ruby and submit it to us. The more information we get, the more complete Ruby will evolve and grow to help you all out. Can Ruby nest projects? I believe Alex just covered that is a possible future feature, but maybe he can elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, as we're really having this design functionality in Ruby and that flexibility and freedom, what we can already do now is really kind of manually nest jobs. So we are not bounded to the actual bounding box of an object anymore. So like a page size. So we can actually move move designs and have them overlapping directly in Ruby. That is possible. But really the nesting functionality we are thinking of will definitely be something we would like to include in Ruby in the future.
Yeah, I think that would be a nice feature because it improves productivity. One thing, at least for the manual nesting, that I like about Ruby is, unlike job control where it limits rotation, Ruby allows unlimited rotation. So you can rotate to any angle that you would like so that you can position and nest manually, at least, much easier than we could previously in job control.
Exactly.
Yeah. When I have a job that must be done 20 times, is there a way to do that? Put a counter on it. I mean, right now you can set in Ruby, you can actually set it to where it doesn't delete, so you can hit start over and over again. But I don't believe there is an actual counter to identify how many times that job has been run. Alex, is that something in the works, or maybe something I haven't seen before?
Yeah, well, David, you mentioned, so we have now the functionality, the option to actually not have jobs being removed from the queue when they're processed, but really this kind of counter, that's also a very interesting topic for us we are looking at. It's not yet there, but we would definitely like to have that as well.
Yeah, I think that would be a great feature for those running production.
Yeah.
One other thing, will the fonts be shown in their actual fonts? In the beta version, I had to click on the font to see what it would look like instead of having a nice preview available. It's what I think he was going to say.
Well, yeah, that's a very good question, and unfortunately, it's not there yet. Fonts in general is really a bigger topic, and we will be working on this. And we want to have it. It's not there yet at the moment, but we will definitely go for it. Yeah.
All right. The feature of touchscreen on the Speedy 400 is coming down to the other reference, like basically, I think he's asking, are they going to have this feature on other models? Howard, I think this is a great one for you.
Yeah, definitely. That's a question for me. Yes, it is planned that all the other members of the Speedy family will have a touchscreen in the future.
Yeah, and with that touchscreen includes Ruby. Yeah, and that's how. Yeah, can't wait to have my entire lab set with touchscreen on my models.
Yeah.
Okay. When I have a job that must be done 20 times, is there a way to do that? Put a counter on it. Okay, same question. Yes. I think we get the point. We will definitely look into that.
Yeah.
Will the new Speedy features be available as an upgrade to my Speedy 400 Flex? New Speedy features. I'm not sure what he means by new Speedy features. Probably an upgradability. Howard, I think he's talking about the upgrade of the Ruby inside into existing one on an existing model. Probably a good one for you.
Yeah, I think it's. I would understand this as well, because the software is one thing. The software is available in this way. You can use it, but the current touch panel won't be possible, for example, and the network communication won't be possible to install it in an existing Speedy. So this is really available with the new version, Speedy 400 run on Ruby only.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have all the same Ruby features as long as you have a PC located near that computer. Yeah. But being able to upgrade an existing model, it's just the hardware that will not physically allow for it, so would not be possible.
That would be, frankly speaking, a mess in hardware. So you have to cut big holes in the housing and change a lot internally. I wouldn't recommend it anyhow.
Yeah.
But in this case, so if one word again, if you want to have these features, it's definitely an idea to talk with your local Trotec connection to talk about the replacement.
Got it. All right, my problem now is the complex jobs. It doesn't always cut the entire line. I had to do one job in several passes. Isn't quite faster way for that jobs. Don't know. On the other hand, how the problem on the beta. My suggestion is definitely download the full version. Any glitches or issues that you may have had on the beta version have definitely been upgraded on the full version. If you still have any of these complex questions and concerns, definitely go to the Ruby help or come or submit it through the Ruby software and let us know that you're having any issues with these potential jobs in the while running the full version, but not on the beta.
Yep. Yeah.
All markers available to be locked now. Yes, you can still do markers. They are a hidden, or I mean, if you go to the actual question mark on the screen, it will tell you how to do that. I believe it's what was the quick key to click a marker, Alex?
F8.
F8. Yes. Yeah. So anywhere you put the cursor on the screen, if you hit the F8 key on your keyboard, it will place a marker. So if you're familiar with using markers in job control, markers give you the ability to position a graphic to a specific orientation or location or a reference spot. But now you would have to actually click the F8 key to start that marker, and you can do it as many times as necessary within Ruby.
Yeah, well, I think, David, actually, this one, because it is possible to actually move the marker around by drag and drop with your mouse. And you can actually, when you lock also the laser crosshair, when you lock that, also the markers are locked and cannot be moved then anymore accidentally. Yeah. So I think that was actually the question here. And of course, the markers, when you save the job, are also saved with your job. So if you would just restore it and just discard changes, if you accidentally move, then it would also be undone then.
I got it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's funny. I've never actually had to lock them, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The other nice thing is once you have a file set up within the prepare screen, you can save that entire prepare screen so that next time you need to go in there, if you have locked markers that you want to reference to, it's going to be there again for you just by a click of a button saved in there. You can't. It's more difficult to do that in job control.
Yeah.
Any idea when the preview job time will be implemented?
Yeah, as mentioned before, we are aiming to have this in the December update available then.
Okay. All right, that concludes our questions for the day. Thank you everyone for coming and visiting with us today and watching our seminar. Thank you so much, Alex and Howard, for joining me today on this exciting launch day for Ruby 2.0.
Thank you, David. Thank you to the entire team, really, to having us, to hosting us today and giving us the chance, really, to get in contact with all of you. And as I mentioned, really, please, if you have any feedback for us, if you find anything, please use the feedback tool, the feedback functionality directly in Ruby, and we can get in contact. And we will be working on it and developing Ruby together in the future then.
Yeah, thank you very much also from my side. It was really exciting for me to share this time with you, and I'm looking forward to your questions and ideas.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Go Ruby.
Go Ruby. Okay.